So today we're going to be taking a look at the Deluxe Dark Trooper from the Mandalorian Season 2 for the Vintage Collection. Overall, it's a very nice action figure. There are a few things about it that I have been disappointed about, and I'll touch on that more as the review goes on. But overall, it's very nice. I know it's been one of the most highly anticipated action figures for quite a while now, and people are buying this in sets of like 8 or even 12. I've seen some up in 20 even, Dark Troopers. It's nice to finally see the Dark Troopers back in the Star Wars world again. Of course, we had the Phase 1, Phase 2, and Phase 3 Dark Troopers that were very popular in the video game Dark Forces and were featured prominently throughout the expanding universe. We do have the Phase 1 Dark Trooper, which I do have reviewed on the channel, and we also have a Phase 3 Dark Trooper, which unfortunately I have not gotten that one as of yet. I hope to at some point. And unfortunately, we did not get the Phase 2 Dark Trooper, which we were scheduled to in the Build-A-Droid line back around 2009. It was the we did get a Phase 3 Dark Trooper in 2 packs for the Build-A-Droid line back in the day, and the Phase 2 Dark Trooper is supposed to get the same treatment, but unfortunately it never went through. It was the pack that featured Corran Horn and his R2 unit, for example. But anyways, we'll take a look at this action figure. We'll start off with the packaging. So again, Hasbro's been stuck on the deluxe action figures recently, so this retails for around $26.99. I don't think most people have gotten it for $26.99, and I will say right now that this is not a $26.99 figure for what we get, and I'll explain that more here in a little bit as well. So unfortunately, prices have been skyrocketing a lot over the last year for Hasbro products, and it just seems like more people are getting priced out of the hobby, and this will be no exception, unfortunately. But it is a very nice artwork on the package there, with the recharge port featuring the Dark Trooper image there using some of his accessories. Another nice image again, then featuring all the accessories that come with this figure. Now you see, taking a look at this, does this look like something that's highly deluxe to you? It doesn't to me, at least. I'm sure a lot of people would agree with that. As far as I know, these deluxe action figures don't really have a numbering order yet, if they will ever. But that's the package. So let's take a look at the figure. So as you can tell, it is really nice. It has that glossy look to it, and I'll point this out right now. One of my favorite features about this is in the head. I love that reflective visor that he has. As you can see, it's in the back here as well. So I would assume it takes up most of the inside of the head there. But I love that reflection it has. I've seen some people complain about it, but I think it's one of the best parts about this action figure. It looks really good, especially if you can catch it in the dark and shine a flashlight on it. Looks really nice. So I'll point out some of the things I've been disappointed about with it first, to get that out of the way. First thing is he's a lot smaller than he should be. As you can see here next to this TBC Stormtrooper, they're very close to the same height. Dark Troopers should be much bigger than that. If you've seen the Phase 3 Dark Troopers before, that's kind of a little bit of a closer scale to what this should be. Personally, for me, I'm treating this like it's a Phase 2 Dark Trooper that we were supposed to get in the line, which is somewhere in between the Phase 1 and the Phase 3 in terms of size, but he should definitely be much larger than a Stormtrooper at least. Then the second disappointing part about this is I feel like the limbs are a little fragile. The plastic feels a little cheap. And sometimes when I'm articulating this, it feels like the limbs can snap off, no problem. As you can see, they're kind of bendy as well. So it's a very soft plastic. I suppose if you're very abusive with your action figures, that could be problematic. Most people probably are only using these for display, so it might not be that big of a deal, but 10 years go by, 20 years go by, plastic gets more bitter, more fragile as time goes on. Who knows, this might be a problem someday. And I suppose the third thing that I've already mentioned is the deluxe pricing as well. Like I said, this is definitely not a deluxe action figure as far as I can tell. In terms of articulation, he does have a ball joint neck there. Pretty good range of motion. And he has hinged shoulders, which go about 90 degrees. He does have some flexibility, just a little bit in his shoulder armor here. But 90 degrees seems to be about the most you can get out of this. And he has hinged elbow, which goes just a little past 90 degrees. Not by much though. Then he has hinged wrists, which are kind of fragile. Very small wrists, so be careful about that. And he has a very good joint at the torso there. He has hinged hips and no swivel thigh, which is alright with me. Then he does have hinged knees, and as you can see, what I mentioned about being a fragile action figure, a little bit of a risk of potentially breaking your leg off the Dark Trooper there. So something to watch out for. And he does have rocker ankles as well. He stands pretty good on his own. I just like keeping stands on my action figures just to keep them from falling over. So in terms of his weapons and accessories, he comes with the one rifle here, which is an entirely unique sculpt. And it's a very nice rifle. Seems a little small to compare to what you would envision the Dark Troopers carrying. But it is a lot of nice detail in this. Nice that they sculpted the magazine as so. And he holds it alright for the most part if you have it in both hands. If you hold it in one hand, it can be kind of loose. And also you can attach this to his thigh here, kind of similar to the First Order Stormtroopers that we got several years ago at this point. And it stays into place really good and it looks nice. And he also comes with these as well, very similar to what we got with Boba Fett's jetpack. And these are supposed to fit at the bottom of his feet, like so. Personally, to me, I think that's kind of a dumb feature. From my understanding, you can use these to fit on some of the recent Mandalorian action figures on their jetpacks. I haven't tested that theory yet, but I wouldn't be surprised. I think it's pretty much the same exact thing that we got with the Deluxe Boba Fett recently. But for the Dark Trooper, I think it would have been better for this design to have its own jetpack instead of on the feet there. Kind of gives it like a Marvel superhero feel, and I just don't like that so much for Star Wars. And then next he comes with alternative hands here, which these two are just fists clenched together. I've actually never taken any of the hands off of this. But let's try and see how one looks now. Feels like it's a pretty tight fit. And looks pretty good. Here's how he looks with his alternative hands here. Next we have this charging port. And I'll say, I think I really don't like this accessory. When I initially got it, it doesn't stand too bad on a platform like this, but in a lot of instances, it doesn't stand very good on its own, and it has a habit of wanting to fall back. And it's very unstable. I have heard some people suggest that it would have been better for the Dark Trooper itself to be on a TBC card and be its normal retail price, $13.99, $14.99 in that range. And this should have been, the charging port should have been released with the rescue set as a unique accessory for that particular Dark Trooper. And I can agree with that. I know a lot of people are disappointed with that rescue set that came out. And for the price it is and for what we get, it's mostly just 3 repacked action figures with nothing really new to offer with it. But here he is inside the charging port. And he fits pretty good and looks really nice as well. But like I said, I can do without. I know most people, when they display their action figures, they probably don't display things like this along with it. It's just the action figure itself and that's it. So that probably would have been something better for an exclusive set like the rescue set was. So would I recommend the Dark Trooper for your collection? I think it's very nice. It's, like I said, it's a fan favorite, and for what it is, again, it's a nice action figure. It is very expensive. Like I said, most people didn't pay $26.99 for it. I personally paid around the $19 range. So if you can find it for less than what the retail price is, you might want to grab one or two. Someday this might be like a $50 or $100 action figure, who knows. So if you're kind of on the fence about it and you're leaning more towards you want it, I would suggest getting it now while it's still hot. Is it the most essential action figure for your collection? Personally not. At this time, I'm still a bigger fan of the Phase 1 Dark Trooper from the Legacy Collection. I think that one's the definitive Dark Trooper as far as sculpt and accessories and articulation to this day, and I personally prefer that over this one. And for me, I'm going to treat this as like the unreleased Phase 2 Dark Trooper that we never got. It's pretty close to how it looks, other than missing a jetpack, and it usually had a heavier rifle with it, kind of similar to the Paz Vizsla. But anyways, that concludes this review. I hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more reviews in the future. There will be plenty more to come. And if you haven't already, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Greatly appreciate the support, and check out the Instagram link in the description as well. And thanks for watching.